Now, most all religions tell you they're the one true religion, right? But that's a lie, I know. Unless they're telling you everything, right? The closest to it is still the Gnostic Gospels, right? But you can read it wrong, right? Like anything that has a core belief, right? If you misinterpret what all is being said, right? And just reading the books they wrote, right? And not with the Bible itself, yeah, it's going to confuse you, right? But if you read it with the Bible, it won't confuse you, right? See, that's what you're trying to do. You're not seeing the seals in the first place, right? So you're denying that aspect of the Bible, right? You're not even reading it to know about it, right? And even when someone reads it to you, you're so used to denying it, that's all you can do about it. It's like, no, that's not what it means, right? Then you're lying to yourself, and that's lip service to God, like I said. You're honoring God to a point with your lips, but your heart isn't in it, right? That's what Isaiah said when you do that and seal the seals, right? You're purposely doing so. Yet, two of the words used in Isaiah 42 we know. Ish we know, and Yolda we know. Mm-hmm. That means two different things, right? One applies to the male and one applies to the female. GBR, we don't know what that means, right? I don't know. It's the only one we don't know, but it's associated with the angel Gabriel, who is also GBR, but with an L at the end, right? And the olive for the L. Now, if I tell you something, like for instance with these self-defense tapes, her Uke, as he's passing by, holds his left hand by his side and doesn't even try to use it. Why do you think that is, right? Because most people are what? Left or right-handed, right? But what is the majority of the people in the world? Probably right-handed, right? But the problem is, though, a minority is left-handed. So they won't attack you with the right hand, but the left. Her Uke's just letting her do that technique on him, right? And not trying to stop her with his left hand, right? When you do that, you're doing the Tory a disservice, right? If I get close enough to you where I can grab you back myself, and I don't, right, with the other hand, and either one could use the left hand again, right? But neither one is. They're just using the right hand, right?
A technique can be applied by using sheer brute force, but this is more in keeping with the techniques of the earlier schools of...
But see, right there, he's got the left hand free to attack her, and he's going in that direction, right? Is what I mean, right? When you're doing a martial arts technique, and see, I'm right now ain't able to do the same things I could do before my accident. Alright, I'm not challenging you to come over to my house, fight me, and then go home, right? That's illegal anyway because you're trespassing, right? On my property, right? Now, all I can do if you do is, like I said, trespasses are to be forgiven, right? But I'm not forgiving you because I can prove you're doing it. I'm forgiving you because the police ain't doing nothing about it either. No. If I'm trying to tell them and Thomas Barbie ain't believing me himself, right? He don't want to get it either. That's okay though, right? But he's not doing a good job in protecting the community by believing a made-up story on YouTube, right? Which is supposed to be something you should be free to do that with, right? Whether it happened or not, right? Because it can happen, right? Now, if someone's telling you something can happen, right, and that they did something or not, or were tempted to do something or not, but didn't go do with it, right, that's just talking about something, not doing it, not doing it. Okay, until you do it with that person, and you know you did it with that person, unless someone else is stalking you after that person left, right, okay, then you know, but you don't know, right? You know of that person in your life, but you don't know they're currently in your life. That would be the problem, right? Now, if a whole video series I bought is missing, right, and I got an extra video I shouldn't have, right, on judo, right, and again, I'm missing the black belt video of that one, Jiu-Jitsu, right? Why is that? Because I took it? No. Where am I going to take it? Only reason I would take it somewhere is I'm making it evidence that someone forced me out my house and left it at their house, right? You understand? Right. And I complied until, again, a certain point where I couldn't comply anymore, right? And then I told them that, right? And that's their problem with me, right? They won't let my no be no, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the thing is, what's Tori gonna do if Uke decides right there to hit her in the head, right? He could do that, right? Just because you got my right hand don't mean I can't attack you with the left as I'm going by you. Right. You're neglecting the truth about that particular move. Right. That it makes you vulnerable. And this is supposed to be a 5th degree black belt or something. He's supposed to be a 2nd or 3rd, right? And you're supposed to know what you're doing in a martial arts to where no one gets hurt there, right? But not attacking you don't mean he couldn't use a technique on you while going by you that way, right? Especially with the left hand. He could do the clothesline thing y'all do, right? And then he's got you, right? Just by going by you that way. You know, y'all do this a lot, right? You try to, well, why didn't he do that only while he was going by you and he would have got you, right? And you would have been down on the ground yourself, right? Or are you neglecting the left hand 100%, right? Oh, it can't do anything, right? But when you want the Uke to do it, right? That's not proper training. No. That's giving you an advantage over the Uke you don't really have in real life, right?
His or her mind in a state known as Zen-Shin. This means that the mind is alert, undisturbed, like a still pool of water.
Right.
Reflects an image of
Clear water.
Professor Tomiki.
Oh yeah, I'm draining the pool, by the way. Both of them. I finally got the pool spa in, right? Or the hot tub, actually. Not the time machine hot tub, but now it's a regular hot tub. Hot tub time machine, it is not, right?
Before the students take part in a competition, they train at Tanto Randori.
But like I told you,
Rearranged forms of attacking.
I can prove it to you if you want to believe it, but if you don't want to believe it, then I can prove nothing to you, right? It's not about what I'm doing either. It's about what you're doing to try to cancel me out that ain't working still. And you just won't admit it, right? That's a lie. That's a lie. That's what every lie is based on.
Would look something like this.
But like I'm trying to tell you, right? See, when you attack somebody with the weapon, any kind of weapon, there's not one way to attack, right? Mm-hmm. And you also have to bear in mind, these people know each other. They're not going to try to hurt each other. They're studying a martial arts together. A stranger don't know you. Dr. Lee, that's her name. That's her name. And she might be small in stature, but she's a female. She's a female. I can tell that, right? Even though she has short cropped hair like a male. Mm-hmm. But it's probably superstitions in the men that make her have to cut her hair that way. No, it is. And like I said, if the technique makes sense, it makes sense. But if it don't, you gotta rethink it, right? Especially when someone is free to use their left hand, and you don't even think they would use it, right? Kind of, right? Taking it for granted. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm watching the videos more. See, I've had them for a long time, right? Trying to watch them and get them all together, right? What I want to watch or study into, right? This was in London, right? Loy Lee is the instructor's name. Dr. Lee. Hope I said that right. Aloy. I don't know. Right. Oh. Now, this was made in 1991, that right? Shit, that's a long time ago. And she lives in her 40s or 50s or something like that too, right? So she could be passed on by now, I don't know. But this is Tobeki Aikido by Dr. Lee Aloy. Mm-hmm. And again, this was out when I was in the military anyway. I couldn't get these videos then, right? But I probably always wanted to, at least to watch them and study into them and see if I agree with some of their techniques or not, right? She also does Jiu-Jitsu, Chi, right? Or they have other titles, I'm sorry. State-style Kung Fu. Northern Tiger Kung Fu, right? All kind of stuff. Zumba, I've heard of. You heard of Zumba, right? It's a dance style, right? And see, then you watch another video, right? Right. So right now I'm doing my Aikido series that I bought. Mm-hmm. And Aikido is about harmony, but you're not being honest about the left hand, right? And again, I'm just starting to really watch it, actually, right? And looking at the techniques from a different perspective and seeing you're taking the left side for granted totally there, right? And that's all I'm pointing out, right? I'm not saying you can't do nothing with the technique you're doing, but with the technique you're doing, you're totally neglecting the Uki's left hand, which can be used against you as you're trying to pull him in the other direction with the other hand, right? He's too close to you to not use that hand, right? In other words, and another person who knows how to use both hands would use both hands, right? And you'll be in trouble, right? And you'll be on the floor, right? There too, with just those certain techniques. They're not all of them, right? Some of them look good, some of them look like they need work, right? And that's all it means. It's a mild critique, I know. And it's not that I'm a full-fledged black belt. Though I won trophies in black belt fighting, right? One time, when I was younger. Exactly. And you see everything as a fight or a challenge. You gotta physically prove yourself too. But that ain't the way either. That ain't gonna help you either if you're wrong in what you're doing and ultimately leads to your own destruction, right? See, Satan wants to destroy you by condemning you to cause the destruction of your flesh as he did his own flesh, right? Now, if he killed his body, what's going to happen to the spirit in that body? It's going to go back to God who gave it, right? But it's going to be less. If you're an angel and you become human, you only have one more step down to go, right? If you die in the human form, right? You understand that too, right? So, let's get some deepness now. And no one can make you agree. It's not my job to make people understand the truth, even if I do and you don't, right? But if I'm attempting to explain it to you and you are willfully denying it, then you have the spirit of Satan in you over the spirit of Jesus and Christ, right? And God, right? Who are from the same source, right? That which made everything, right? Whatever is God is greater than you. But you don't even want to admit that. You want to act like you're equal to God. And even though Jesus thought it not robbery to be equal with God, he still became as one of us, a human being or man, right? Now the thing is, in the Greek, andro is the word, but in the Hebrew Greek, anthro is the word, right? They throw in the T for some reason. I don't know why. TH, right? But it's not like they don't have a D either in the Hebrew. In fact, they might have a double D. For some reason. Moses wasn't said to be a stutter. Couldn't have to do with that. The S could also be a double S. Like I said, what do you know? What do you know? If you quit using certain things, you're going to lose the correct pronunciation of it anyway. And the only thing that could be different with the S is it's a double S, right? Now, are there H's sometimes behind the S? That's SH if there are, right? If it's the single S and then the H is behind it, right? In the Hebrew, right? That's a SH, right? Now, I haven't studied that deep into the religion to see if they even do that, right? But behemoth, right, is close to that, and it's plural in the end, right? There's not one behemoth, there's a female and a male, right? Right. Leviathan is a little different. It's a in ending, right? Yet you have that in the Bible. You even have something that's like a Ram, that they call a unicorn in the King James Version, right? Now, a unicorn means just something that has one horn on the top of its head, right? Now, I don't know if that's a horse or rhinoceros, which kind of more fits. The rhinoceros more fits because it has one central horn, right? Even if it has two in a row, right? But one's behind the other, and if it's charging you, you're going to see the one horn. Stir. But whatever it is, they're referring to something they saw, not something that was dead, right? Not something extinct, right? Which you don't know that the unicorn, if they really exist, and they're a horse with a horn on its head, because of the narwhal also being an mammal. Now, what it is with the narwhal is it's its tooth at the top of its skull, I guess, right, turns into a horn somehow, and is like a tooth, right? You don't confirm. But it's not impossible. But the problem with the unicorn in ancient times is it can stab you with the horn. And multiple times till you're dead. Well, if that makes that a weapon for a horse, right? Now, you see how wily horses can be when they don't want you to ride them. They'll buck you, hit you with any part of their body, including if they had a horn in their head, stab you through with a horn in its head. How long do you think a unicorn would really last if they really existed in ancient times? Not long. Not long. Like the dodo bird, they were probably going to see, right? Because men would kill them and hunt them down until they died. Right? All of them. That's how we are. We didn't care about the dodo bird, though we know it's extinct now. Same thing can happen with if there were little tiny people like leprechauns, right? Who knows? And we consider them magical. We don't know. Or fairy tale creatures with wings like angels, but we're just on a different scale, right? That's what you're doing, though, when you tear down the forest of something you don't know that even lives there. You're also driving it extinct. You don't know what's there. It probably has a way to sense you. For instance, your blood has iron in it. If fairies are repelled by iron, they can't even be around us because our blood has iron in it. Everything that. So they would flee from us if we tried to get near one. Right? They wouldn't try to get close to us. They can't. Iron repels them. Right? It don't matter how much either. Right? See, they didn't know all this when they were making up the stories of the fairy tales either, right? They didn't know iron repels fairies, right? They didn't know we had iron in our blood either, right? They just know it was red and, right? When you bled, right? But then Isaiah talks of your blood being as crimson like blood, right? But it shall also be white as snow. What does that mean? Could it have been clear like water at one point? I don't know. Right. The blood is thicker than the water, right? But it's like living water in our veins, right? So why is it red instead of clear? Like water. Because that's really what it represents in the human body, the water we're made out of, right? The rest of us has water itself in us, right? That's why we drink water sometimes. We need it, right? And like I said, do you think I'm not going to take a shower if I was to go out or something? Right. But if I don't go out, right, or do or don't, whatever, right, you're not supposed to be smelling me, okay? Part of a disability, if you're bigger, is you might smell a little, not that you're not showering, right? Exactly. See, smelling means I'm sweating more and bigger, and it gets into my crevices. When it gets into my crevices, right, it forms what? Mold, mildew, stuff like that, right? Well, your clothes can also be mildewy from just putting them in the damn drawer for a while. Yeah. And not wearing it for a while, right? That's mildew, right? Sometimes. You're smelling from me, right? It's the clothes itself that become mildewy, right? Because they're technically clean, right? I ain't even worn them, right? But they smell mildewy, right? That's why, too. That's what it is. You just don't want to believe me, right? You doctors, you lawyers, you criminals, right? Even, right? No one wants to listen. Man has become his own God in his own mind, right? And that's why you're falling like the devil. He was once a prince with Jesus, right? If Jesus is the firstborn, who do you think was the secondborn? Satan himself, right? But you can't even contemplate that anymore, right? And what it meant, right? He was supposed to co-rule with Jesus once he became an adult, too, right? But the problem is he wanted to usurp the authority of Jesus and even God itself, right? And teach us the knowledge of good and evil, right? And control us by dying in his own sin, right? That he committed with Adam and Eve themselves, right? Now, the Gnostics tell you that if you read the whole thing. But like any